And that means it's time for Mission InstructureCon to commence. Hello, and welcome to all of you new recruits. Tell me, who's excited to be here? Agents, that was your first test. This isn't some silly kumbaya summer camp. This is serious spy training. I'll bet you're thinking that being a spy is going to be like all of those James Bond or ridiculous Mission Impossible movies you've seen. I've got news for you. You're right. It totally is. It is amazing. I mean, just look at this tactical gear they let me wear. They send me all over the globe. They gave me a free watch, and hey, there's a picture of my car. You wouldn't believe how fast that thing is. Anyhow, as I was saying, welcome. And first things first, I'd like to introduce all of you to me. I'm Special Agent Anderson, and I'll be taking breaks from the field this week to help you navigate this top secret week in the mountains. I know what you're thinking. And it's the right question to ask. What's my secret identity? Well, being a spy is all about blending in. So for this training mission, Mission InstructureCon, I'd like all of you to pretend you work in education. It's the perfect identity for training. Nobody will suspect a thing. That sounds workable, doesn't it? Okay, so with that established, make some noise if you're ready to become a spy. Come on. Come on, we just went over this, your secret identity, remember? Blending in, you're educators. Anyhow, a couple of things for your first briefing. Briefing, see? It's already getting spy-ish. Comms, or communication, as you may be familiar with it, is of the utmost importance when you're a spy. Sometimes what you don't say is as important as what you do, and what you do say. So when you're saying what you need to say it using the official hashtag of Mission InstructureCon, hashtag InstCon. Use it often, but agents, use it responsibly. Now, all of that hashtagging would be rendered impossible without a solid and secure connection to the internet. So log on with any piece of spy-grade hardware to our ultra-encrypted SpyFi. Just look for network InstCon 17 and password Canvas 0017. Now, being a new recruit means you're going to have all kinds of new recruit questions. You'll be saying things like, what time is this? And who's that over there? What's that? Save yourself all kinds of trouble. And before you lock those devices, download the official app of Mission InstructureCon. You'll be glad you did. Our thanks to the agents over at Moto Labs for an impressively built appified experience. Now, as you walk around, that's okay to clap for. As you walk around this training center, you'll notice a number of lounges. But don't be fooled. When you're a spy, nothing is quite what it seems. These lounges are actually highly sophisticated centers of engagement. True, you can use them to put your feet up or recharge your spy gear, but you'll simultaneously be experiencing the latest technology or engaging with some of our pals. What are pals? I'm glad you asked. Pals represent our pretty awesome learning society. They're a collection of syndicates in education. And at this time, this one isn't a test. I'd like all of you to give your thundering respect to our pals for helping make Mission InstructureCon possible. Be sure to make some time this week to visit our pals at the Pals Tent, located near Keystone Lake, available daily from 0700 to 1800 hours. Whew. Comms done. Give yourselves a miniature and highly top secret pat on the back. On to the indispensables, meals and must-dos. Stay limber, agents. Take it from me. When you're out in the field, rising early and flexibility, non-negotiables. So get some extra credit this week by joining us for yoga at the break of day each day. You'll find us at the gazebo near the Adventure Center. And once you've built up that healthy appetite, join the rest of the new recruit class over at Decatur Field for your meals and activities. Meals can also be had at the PALS tent. And while you're there, be sure you pick up your swag, special whatchamacallits and goodies. That's a technical term. You'll get used to it. Once you've got your gear, get out on the water for some aquatic training. Stand-up paddleboards and kayaks get used more than you'd think out there in the field, so you'd better get your balance down now. All of these things can be used free of charge at the Adventure Center, sponsored by Microsoft. Note that you can also rent a disguise as a cyclist at the Adventure Center or at Keystone Sports in River Run Village. Just be sure to take the disguise back when you're through with it. And finally, stay safe out there, agents. But wait, Agent Anderson, this is training. Aren't I safe here? The truth? You must always be on alert. Here are just a few of the dangers that could be lurking around every corner. Sunshine, altitude, alcohol, wildlife, and for goodness sakes, please, drink plenty of water. Now, I couldn't help but notice that none of you were taking notes. That's good. A sharp mind and a photographic memory are essential when you're a spy. But just in case some of your minds aren't photographic-y enough yet, look for agents wearing these uniforms. They are your trusted source of truth. Now, you'll recall that I said that when you're a spy, nothing is quite what it seems. Well, all of you thought you were coming here for an important keynote message. But before that message, we have an important pre-note. And here to deliver that message is our Chief Operating Officer, Agent Mitch McFarland. That's right, one more thing. Punctuality is key when you're a spy. So let's try that again. Put your hands together for Mitch McFarland.
Hey, look up there, that's Mitch. Hanging from that rope, that's Mitch. Mitch McFarland, Instructure COO. Oh, Mitchie, you're the best.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to InstructureCon. This is my 7th InstructureCon, and every time I get up here, I'm amazed at how much our ranks have swelled. What an exciting place to be. Consistently, I get positive feedback on people's interactions with Instructure employees. So if you've had a great interaction with an Instructure employee, let's make a little noise. At Instructure, we care deeply about customer experience. And in fact, I'm always looking for great examples of excellent customer experience out in the wild. And today, I want to give you a little bit of a glimpse about how we talk about Instructure's customer experience internally. In fact, I want to share with you some of the stories that inspire us. The first story is about Eddie Aikau. Do we have any surfers in the audience? We got a couple, okay. I am totally not a water person. I don't swim well, I'm afraid of open water, so I really appreciate people like Eddie, who back in the 60s, in addition to being a big wave surfer, was also the first lifeguard at Waimea Beach. And Waimea is famous for having waves in excess of 30 feet. And Eddie's life was one of extreme personal risk in service of others. During his career as a lifeguard, he attempted over 500 rescues, and he never lost one of them. He was known for going out in the worst possible conditions. There was no scenario too treacherous, no waves too large, that Eddie wouldn't put himself out there. And so, Eddie, years after his death, a couple of lifeguards got together, and it was a particularly nasty day. The weather was really bad. They were looking out at the waves, and they were talking about how difficult it would be to attempt a rescue in those conditions. And one of them made the observation, Eddie would go. And there the phrase was born, and Eddie's legacy was cemented. At Instructure, we like to ask the question, what would we willingly do to make our job harder in order to deliver the Instructure experience? As Eddie understood, sometimes doing the right thing requires personal sacrifice. One of the other stories I like to share is about an 89-year-old World War II vet who got snowed into his house, to his apartment, and didn't have enough food. So his daughter, who lived across the country, phoned local grocery stores to see if they had delivery service. The only one that said they did is Trader Joe's. They don't, but they felt like they wanted to help out this man. So as his daughter was on the phone ordering groceries, the Trader Joe's employee suggested additional items that would be good for this man's low-sodium diet. You're thinking, hey, great upsell, right? Nope, they didn't charge a dime for the groceries or the delivery service. And like Eddie, this Trader Joe's employee would go. Another really touching story is about a man who was on a business trip in Los Angeles. And he learned that his 3-year-old grandson was dying in Denver. And he needed to get out there as quickly as he could before his grandson passed away. So his wife called Southwest Airlines and made these emergency flight reservations and explained the situation to Southwest. But unfortunately, this man got held up in LA traffic and long lines at the LAX airport. And when he arrived to the gate, 12 minutes after the flight was scheduled to depart, he was shocked to see the pilot waiting for him there. And he profusely thanked the pilot, to which the pilot responded, "This plane doesn't go anywhere without me, and I don't go anywhere without you. So relax, we will get you there. And on behalf of Southwest, we're very sorry for what your family is going through." This Southwest pilot would go. But we don't just find examples of exemplary customer experience out in the wild. We find many of them right within our own Instructure community. One of those is about a community college teacher from Mississippi dedicated to her students' success. In fact, as students try to drop her class, they're in for a fight because she wants to know why, and she wants to know how she can help them succeed. For one former student, she's personally tutored him in art appreciation, and English. These are subjects she doesn't teach. For another student, she drove him across state lines so that he could finish a class project and graduate. That community college teacher would go. One other story, the story of a teacher who, upon learning that a Pacific Islander student wasn't going to graduate due to some fees that were unpaid, she paid those fees out of her pocket. When her department learned that she had paid the fees, they very graciously offered to reimburse her, which she refused and responded, "No, that's probably the best $150 that I've ever spent." She, being a Pacific Islander herself, understands the power of education in transforming those Pacific Islanders' lives. This concept of Personal sacrifice extends well beyond lifeguards and groceries and student fees. Every one of us can impact the world in a positive way. So maybe this phrase changes to willingly making our lives harder to make a difference in the world. And many of you do this already. I wish that I had more time to share more of your stories. We know that Eddie would go, that Trader Joe's employee would go. You bet that Southwest pilot would go, along with the community college teacher and the fee-paying teacher. So the question then becomes, will you go? Thank you for inspiring us and providing us the opportunity to help you make a difference in the world, one student at a time. Thanks. Oh, wait, what's that? I'm sorry. Hey, everyone. We've got an urgent announcement. We've got a top secret communication coming in. Please stand by.
Greetings, EduAgents. The following information is highly classified. Let's perform some routine security measures to ensure proper clearance. First, a retinal scan. Do try not to blink.
Retinal scan initialization. Authentication failed.
Next, a fingerprint scan. Please raise your right hand. No, your other right. Fine, either right.
Fingerprint scan initialization. Authentication failed. All remaining attendees cleared.
Dandy. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to join in the fight against the League of Educational Evil. Quick, memorize this list of anti-education supervillains. Got it? Marvelous. Now, our R&D team has some new toys for you to probably ruin. How about laser contact lenses, huh? To activate, simply press on a cufflink or brooch like so, and... It is of paramount importance that laser contact lenses be inserted right side out. Shall we talk about disguises? The key to a great disguise is to not look like yourself, so don't look like yourself. That's key here. Next, car chases. No secret mission is complete without one heart-stopping chase. I don't really have anything to add to that. I just think car chases are the best. Because they are. Lastly, every great spy has their own over-the-top theme song. So make sure that yours is at least as good as this one.
This message will self-destruct in 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, Instructure CEO, Josh Coates.
Josh Coates, Josh Coates, Josh Coates, Josh Coates. Here he comes, Keynote speech, CEO. Josh Coates, Josh Coates, Josh Coates, Josh.
I don't know where they come up with this stuff, but that I'm going to use that theme song pretty much from now on wherever I speak. How you guys doing? Pretty good? Okay, so I'm Josh Coates. I'm going to be your CEO today, and I'm going to be giving the keynote. But before we start, I wanted to find out who is here at the very first Instructure Con, 2011. Oh my gosh, a whole bunch. Okay, who's here for the first time? This is the first Instructure Con. Also a whole bunch. Well, that's great. That's great. Well, this year's theme, 0017, it's a lot of fun. And we start, of course, if you've been to a keynote before that I give at Instructure Con, we start with some mental warm-ups to kind of get our brain working so we can absorb and consume information. So here we go. Let's see what we got today. I'll tell you first, though, these are going to be a little different, these mental warm-ups, because they're brought to you by Moonraker. And so they're space-themed. Oh, incidentally, you know this guy, Jaws, you know the guy with the metal teeth from that movie, Moonraker? He was, the first time I saw him was actually in an old Twilight Zone episode. He plays the alien in that episode, To Serve Man. You know the one where the guy's like, oh, it's a cookbook. That's a spoiler. Anyway, you should check it out. It's good. They're all on Netflix. Okay, let's jump right in. Here's the moon. By the way, this is a color photo of the moon. It's been, it's saturated, it's processed, it's a picture taken from Earth. And the moon, actually, the dirt is kind of brown. When we see the moon, it looks almost white because it's so highly reflective. And most of the pictures we see from the 60s are in black and white, but it actually has color to it. But are you ready for this? You've seen more of the moon than you've seen of the Earth with your own eyes. Think about that. You're going to live your whole life, and you will have seen more of this celestial body than the one you're on now. Even if you're in an airplane and you look out the window, it's just a little thin strip of land. So you're more familiar with this planet. Okay, ready for the next one? Good, I'm glad you're ready. Okay, do we have anyone here from Canada? Okay, well, check this out. We are currently closer to space than Canada. Canada's like 600 miles away. Space is only about 60-something miles up. How do you feel about that, Canadians? I'm not sure what to think of that, but it's interesting to consider. It's the time it takes to get from point A to point B. We don't think spatially, we think temporally. How about that? Okay, next one. Spacesuits are literally made to protect astronauts from nothing. Right? I mean, that's pretty much true, right? I mean, maybe if they stay up there a long time, solar wind and radiation will do them in, but for the most part, it protects them from the vacuum of space. All right, what's next here? Oh, yeah. Okay, let's kind of bring it down back to Earth. This is going to be a little sensitive. I hope you guys are okay with this next one. But it's pretty serious. It's a real problem. Something is seriously wrong with the education system when the most common adult nightmare is that you're still in school. You know it's true. Actually, you know what? I have never asked anyone in the education business if they have nightmares. Do you guys have nightmares that you're still in school? Every morning when you go to work. No, I don't know why. We still have this. I think it's such a formative time in our life, whether you're in kindergarten all the way up through graduate school. It's just, there's nothing else like it. There's nothing else like it, and it stays with us. Yeah, I don't know what anything positive to say about that, but it's okay. Okay, all right. Mind's blown, right? Boom. Wow. All right, so you guys ready? You guys ready to consume some information here? Okay, just to remind you, we're Instructure. We're a software company. We make software, and the type of software we make, of course, you guys are familiar with Canvas, but you know we make lots of different kinds of software, and we're going to keep making software. And all the software we develop really is focused around trying to make people smarter and trying to make them better. That's the kind of software we develop. We don't spend a lot of time on software that people don't use. And a lot of people do. I mean, like, what's Oracle make? I mean, databases, boring. I mean, and when they try to make front-end applications, they're pretty bad. It's a great company. I'm not picking on Oracle. I'm just saying the software we make, it's really important to us that it's people kind of oriented software. Okay, just to remind you, we were founded in 2008 by a couple of graduate students from Brigham Young University. We were launched in 2011. That's when we launched open source Canvas. And now we have over 1,100 employees and over 3,000 customers. We're still 100% native cloud. And we're on the New York Stock Exchange. So if all of you could just buy 10 shares, just 10. Yeah, no, it's actually exciting because a lot of our company all our employees own stock. But now it's neat because our customers and everyone in the world, if they want to, can own a piece of the company. And it's nice. The accountability and the transparency fits really well with our culture. Okay. Look at this graph. We've grown so quickly since 2011. A couple of years ago, we launched Bridge, so now we have corporations also using our software, not just universities and colleges and school districts. And I don't know why Flash has a motorcycle. Why does he need that? We're going to talk about uptime. This is the uptime graph. See the kind of shaded part right there? That's 2017. And you go all the way back to 2009. And if you look at the y-axis, that's 0% uptime all the way to 100% uptime. And if you squint, the red line, that's our uptime over the last 12 months, average of the last 12 months. And the blue is a 30-day. So if you just look at this, we look awesome. But if you dig in a little bit more, this is the top 10%. You see the y-axis change there. You feel like you're in school a little bit. We're talking about y-axis. And then you zoom in a little bit more. You can see earlier in 2009, 10, 11, 12, it was hard to keep the system up. We were pretty dang good. I mean, was anyone using our system here that was back in 2010 or 11? It was pretty good, pretty reliable. But it got better and better and better. Now, this last year, Amazon had a problem. You were all on Amazon's system, and we have a pretty good infrastructure on top of it, but it was down for a few hours one day. It was in February, end of February, and that was kind of a drag, and we panicked and we got it back up. But you know what? In spite of that, and by the way, I'm always going to show you guys the news, whether it's good or bad. I'm proud of our track record, and we're going to keep being the most reliable LMS in the industry because, even with this, we still have 3 nines of uptime, 99.97% for the last 12 months. And what that translates to, that's only a few hours of downtime per year. And that includes upgrades. You never see a notice saying, Canvas will be down for the next 8 hours from upgrades. We just don't do that. So this is the whole ball of wax, 3 hours downtime every 12 months, and you probably don't notice at all because, it's 5 minutes there, it's 7 minutes there, you hit refresh, oh yeah, I guess it's okay now. So we've got a really tight system, and our operations team is second to none. Okay, let's talk about customer happiness, specifically support. Now, I share this with you every year. This is how we are doing with our support happiness. If you go to our customer support system and talk to one of our customer support guys or send an email or a note, they get on the problem, they fix it. And then sometimes there's a survey. Were you okay? Did it turn out the way you wanted it to turn out? And we're doing about 90%. So that's about an A-. I'd like to have us at an A, 95%, and I commit to do better. Next year, I think I'll show you an A. But an A- is okay. It's a lot better than my GPA was in high school, but I think it's passing. I think actually I got what did I get in high school? A 3.2 or 3.5? No, it must have been a 3.5. I did okay. Terrible in Latin. I got C's in Latin. Okay, I want to thank the sponsors. Okay, just give them another shout out because this conference. This conference cost millions of dollars, candidly, really. These guys offset some of the costs. And of course, you guys offset some of the costs too, but it is not a profit center for our company, I assure you. We lose a little bit of money, but it's totally worth it. It's totally worth it. So we're just going to keep doing it. It's fun. It's fun. I think it's important. Okay, now I'm going to share with you, just a few minutes, a message about journeys, about your journey, about our journey, okay? Get a little philosophical. I'm going to share with you first a study by the Max Planck Institute. It's in Germany. They did a study in 2009. And what they did is they wondered, why is it when people get lost in the forest or in the mountains or out in the desert, and they find them and they're dead, and they follow their trail and say, what happened? And they find that they've kind of wandered in circles, and they're like, what's wrong with people? What's going on with people where they can't quite get to where they want to go? So they did an experiment, and they took a bunch of guys and they put them in the forest in Germany. They also took a bunch of guys and they put them in the desert in Tunisia. That really is a picture of Tunisia. Look it up. So they took him and they put him in the desert, and they put a GPS on him, and they said, okay, we want you to walk in a straight line for, a mile or two. And they just recorded what happened. And what do you think happened? People started walking in circles, like loops like this and loops like that, and they started going all over. But then sometimes they'd walk in straight lines. They thought, what's going on? What's the difference? They thought, well, maybe one of their legs is longer than the other, and they're just doing, or maybe one's more dominant. But they found that they actually would go left circles and right circles, and they're like, no, that doesn't make sense. And then they actually put shoes on them where one shoe was a little higher than the other just to mess with them. Same thing. And also, with the funny shoes, they'd still walk in straight lines sometimes. What they discovered is on cloudy days, they'd walk in loops. And on sunny days, they'd walk in straight lines. They realized that they needed a reference point. And that reference point, that's all it took for them to walk in straight lines. As soon as the clouds came over, circles. You want to know how I know this actually happened? Because look, science, that's what science looks like. That makes me believe it. I think it's true anyway. I think it's true. So I'm going to talk about our journey. And the references that we have tend to be goals. They're things that we want to go for. Common ones, I'll share some common goals people have. They have educational goals. They want to be successful in education, successful in their careers, successful in their family life, financially successful. They want to be successful in their hobbies. You know how you can figure out if you actually have a good goal that you want to be successful in? I'll tell you how. It's a hint. If your 5-year-old self would think it's cool, or your 95-year-old self would think it's cool, then it's probably a good goal. If neither of these versions of yourself would be impressed by it, it might not be a good goal. It's a silly test, but I think it's legit. Think about what you've done in your life, really cool things you've succeeded in, and would your 5-year-old self say, oh, that's pretty cool? Or your old version say, yeah, that's pretty good looking back on it. Those are good indications. But how do we do this? Even if we have a reference point to success, and can we make it there in a straight line? No. This is what success actually looks like for all of us. For all of us. I'll tell you about a journey I took a few years back. It was a 50-mile hike in the Uinta Mountains. And I thought, I could probably do that. You want to see what the squiggly line looks like? I'll show you what it looks like. It looks like that. This is me about halfway through. I was not a happy camper. And I thought that was a really rough journey. And I think it was up to that point one of my roughest journeys until I went public a year and a half ago. I don't know why marketing decided to take this is about a week into the IPO process. It wasn't that bad, really, but it was still pretty bad. Now, there's a lot of advice that we get on our journey. Lots and lots of advice, and lots of it's really good advice. The problem is not all the advice is consistent. It's hard to decide what voice to listen to. Look at Arnold. He says, as long as the mind can envision the fact that you can do something, you can do it, as long as you really believe 100%. No matter how much this guy believes, he's not going to become that unicorn. And no matter how much I lift, I'm not going to be able to do that. It's not bad advice still, but that might be good advice for some people, and for other people, that's maybe not the right kind of advice. The road to success. There are no shortcuts. This is common advice for your journey, right? On your journey, don't take shortcuts, But when I was young, I used to play Candyland. I had 3 brothers and a mom, and we'd sit around, we'd play Candyland, and guess what? That shortcut worked every time. And before the game, I'd be like, hey, do you guys want to play Candyland? You know what I did to that deck? I made sure that green square was right there, number 4 underneath. And I'd be like, I'll go last. It's cool. I probably have shared too much. Ethics take time to develop. And it's better to learn them when you're very young. Well, okay. Also, I did it my way. A lot of successful people. Give me some advice. Hey, just do it your way. Don't listen to anyone else. Not bad advice. But sometimes your way isn't the best. And when things go wrong, we comfort ourselves, or our mentors comfort us. They say, you know what? Things will look better in the morning. And that's often true, isn't it? But sometimes they look worse. Much, much worse. You worked super hard, things look okay, you wake up in the morning and, oh, crap. And that happens. But doesn't everything happen for a reason? That's something we say to ourselves to comfort ourselves sometimes on our journey. Well, sometimes the reason is you're stupid and make bad decisions. I've done that. I think we've all done that. It's a little kinder when it's crocheted, but it's still true. There are so many voices, and it's so unclear which voice to follow and which one applies to us in our own journey. If there was some kind of formula or a pattern we could follow where it would work every time, wouldn't that just be a lot easier? You guys remember Bill Murray? Groundhog Day? That's the movie where he wakes up every morning and it's the same day over and over and over again. And Bill Murray said, you know what? I'm going to try some stuff out. I'm going to practice. Well, eventually, on his journey, he got to what he wanted. He discovered true love. But you know how long it took him to do that? Some people have done some math. Some people with an enormous amount of time on their hands. They could have been postgraduate students or Wikipedia editors. I don't know. But they counted how many days Bill Murray spent in this movie. It's approximately 12,000 days over 30 years. Somewhere between 30 and 40 years is what they estimate in one day to get it right. Now, we don't get do-overs, do we? We can't spend 30 years practicing a single day of our journey. You know, what's interesting, this is a kind of a weird exercise. I bet there was a series of steps that you could take over the next 24 hours that would somehow get you $1 million in your checking account. I have no idea what those steps would be. But think about it. I mean, you know, if you had 10,000 times to do over, could there be some strange sequence of events to make you be enormously successful, whatever your endeavor is, in a single day? Perhaps, but we just don't get those chances in life. There are no notes, there are no guides, there's no instructions. You know, when I think of instructions, I think of IKEA, don't you? Do we have any Swedes in the audience? Anyone from Sweden? Hey, you, right? You're Swedish? How Swedish are you? Like for real? Can you explain why they name their products like Billy? I mean, it's a bookshelf. Why'd they call it Billy? You're not going to answer me. I can't hear you. All right. Any Swedes close up? It's okay. It's great. We love Sweden. The closest thing we have is probably something more like a farmer's almanac, where it's a guess, right? That's the best we have in our life, is kind of vague predictions about what might happen. May I suggest on your journey you don't look for a blueprint or instructions. Instead, think of it like a farm. Something you have to every day wake up and work hard, and you don't know what's going to happen. You might be herding cats. You might be trying to get things to grow where they're supposed to grow and not grow where they're not supposed to grow. You might get people telling you things that you already know, and they're wrong. Or maybe things just aren't working out, you know? Things you plant don't flourish. That can happen. You know, there's always next season. That's okay. Don't think to yourself, I followed the instructions and it didn't work. Life doesn't go that way. You know, there's weather and other people and farm animals, and just lots of stuff happens. And you just have to be patient with yourself and keep moving forward, because there always is next year. Some things there's not going to be next year. You don't have to go on another hike if you don't want to. But for most of the time, there is a next time. So why do we do this? Well, when we're successful in our journey, we inspire other people. That's the altruistic reason for us to work so hard to be successful. And everyone here has achieved some level of success, or you wouldn't be here. You're doing something in your career or in your life to get you to a point where you're part of this community and you're making a difference. What does inspire mean? It simply means to create an extraordinary quality, as if arising from some external impulse. Let me submit that that external creative impulse is you. When you succeed in your endeavors, people around you are inspired. You get what you want on your journey, but that just helps one person. It helps you out. But you know what? Something you don't always think about is how many people it inspires around you. And I'd like to think a lot of people that are inspired by you and your success, they never tell you. You don't know whose lives you're touching by your own journey. Thank you for being here. Thank you for doing your jobs. Thank you for being part of this critical industry, critical in the world more now than ever. Thank you. There's more. We have a case study of success that we're going to learn about here in the next few minutes. There's a very successful person that has done many, many things. A singer, an author, a poet, an actor, a producer. And we're going to spend some time with her. Let's see Jewel.
Thank you. I asked for my chair to be taller than yours. I'm
Oh, is that right?
disappointed.
Is this the taller one?
Can I just sit up here and look down on you? I'm joking.
Well, I don't think these are adjustable.
Hi, guys. That was awesome. I really enjoyed that.
Oh, good.
I had to watch back there. I giggled.
I try. It's part of my job.
Well, you're funny. It's not part of your job.
Well, you know, we all have. Your intro was like one of your big hit songs, and we thought, gosh, we listened to a whole bunch of your songs, and we're like, what would be the best one? We picked that one, and then we realized, you know what, we have an international spy song for you also. Do we have that still? Can we play that?
Jewel is forever. Super famous singer. Please put your hands together.
Well, you're officially part of 0017
That was good.
Instructure Con.
Where's my bikini?
Okay, Jewel, I've got questions here.
Nice.
Okay,
I'm ready.
I've got some less serious questions,
Okay.
and then I've got some serious questions.
My teeth are real.
Is it okay to make jokes about your teeth?
Yeah, it happens all the time. I
Really?
do it. My real name's Jewel.
It's like Cindy Crawford's mole or whatever. You know,
Yeah,
it's
I
like
think me and Cindy have a lot in common in the looks department, you know? I get compared to her a lot.
that's what just came to mind first.
Yeah, my snaggle, her mole. They're like the great classic beauties.
All
Their
right,
identifiable
Jewel. Okay.
traits.
How much time? I'm gonna stay up here for an hour.
Well, yeah,
Hey,
you're in
so
charge.
tell me, you're a famous person.
So famous.
Yeah, I think you're the most famous person. I don't know. We've actually had some pretty famous people in Instructure. We had MC Hammer.
Love him.
Not once.
Yeah.
We had Olivia Newton-John. We had They Might Be Giants.
Love them.
Yeah. They do kids music like you do.
Yeah.
You've done some
That's where
kid
it's
music
at,
too.
you know?
Okay. Are paparazzi, are they real? Do you still see them, or was it like in your big pop star days?
Are you saying I'm past my prime?
You know, You've moved on to country, and paparazzi don't bother country, do they?
They don't actually. You know, I always looked at the paparazzi as human beings, which they are.
That is so charitable of you.
When they when they came to see me at airports, I would actually stop and take pictures for them because it's a lot like the stock market. Like, as I flooded inventory and I had a lot of pictures of myself out there, the bounty on my head went down, and so I just took as many pictures until they're like, stop.
Oh
There's
my
too
gosh,
many of you
that is
circulating.
so smart.
And so I lowered the bounty on my head by just constantly being nice, and I stopped and I posed for pictures. And then we got to the point where I was like, I look like crap. I'm going to be at this hotel a little later. Like, let's do this then. And they're like, we got you. I was like, thank you. So they actually were great to me.
That's pretty smart.
And I always wore my underpants, and I never did cocaine. So, you know, I wasn't like a salacious. I wasn't a big story exactly. Like, she's boring. She goes to bed at night.
You didn't keep it interesting.
I didn't. No, they lost interest.
Speaking of phases, so you had sort of like a folk singer phase and a kind of a more poppy phase, and then kind of a more country. Are you gonna do a metal thing at some point?
You're gonna hear a lot of rock music tonight. I enjoy writing rock music.
Oh yeah, she's playing for us.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I just like?
Okay.
Sorry.
No, we were. I was gonna tell him anyway.
Okay. Yeah,
It's. You're fine. Okay, I got so many questions. Oh hey, do you read your own fan mail? Or do you have
it's
people
funny.
for that?
Now, with the electronic age, you rarely get fan mail.
Nuh-uh.
No, I mean, I still get some. It's usually to, like, people send pictures for you to sign. I rip them up, I stomp on them, and then I just send them back saying I dashed your dreams. That's how I roll. No, I do sign them. I do.
Are they mostly paper or like email? Or do people just tweet you?
People mostly tweet and use social media now to reach out to you.
Doesn't that seem impersonal a little bit?
Still just as stalker potential, though. I mean, that's nice.
I guess.
You
But
know?
you feed them. I saw your Instagram feed, speaking of stalker.
Yeah.
And I noticed, like, I was like, you know, Jewel's above the fray. But there, I saw you took a picture of your breakfast. It was like a waffle. I'm like, oh my gosh, she took a picture of her food.
Hey, if I can cook on top of all this, I'm pretty proud.
Have you ever made a smiley face in your
Broke
pancakes?
my eggs and make the smiley face.
That's from
I
one of
kind
your
of like
songs.
it in my brand new.
See,
place.
all right. Do you listen to your own music? Like, do you
all I
like open
listen to.
Spotify and you're like, Jewel? And you're like, shuffle. You ever
That'd
do
be
that?
amazing. I remember when I used to do more photo shoots, the photographers would play your own music while you were having your photo taken.
Oh, was that awkward?
It was awful. I was like, who does this? Like, who wants to listen to themselves and be like, I like me a little more Lee. Do you have a little more me? Like, it's really vain. I hated it. It was very awkward. So I listened to Prince.
It must work for other celebrities, maybe? I don't know.
I think so, because it was like something every photographer did. I think they liked to hear their new record that they just made. It always embarrassed me. But photo shoots embarrassed me. You embarrass me. No, you don't. You don't. You really don't.
We'll see. Let me know after the interview. Okay, so we're going to do, well, okay, so if you don't know Jewel's story, I'm going to try to do like a miniature version of Jewel's story. I have a confession to make. I'm really sorry. I took some of your revenue away back in 1998.
Yeah?
I downloaded some of your music from Napster. And I put it on my new MP3 player that it held 60 megabytes.
It's amazing.
So I could only put like 20 songs on,
Yeah.
but it was mostly you.
Nice.
But I feel bad because I didn't pay for it.
I'll charge you after the show. We'll
Okay.
just add it to the, yeah.
Factor in inflation, interest. Okay, I'm just gonna, if you don't know Jewel's story, she's got a book called Never Broken, and actually I just read it last night. And then half this morning. It's a quick read. It's pretty. I mean, it's like 400 pages, but it goes by really quick. Did you really write that?
I did write that.
Really? You didn't have like a ghostwriter?
No, I kept telling my publisher, I'm like, the minute I start sucking, you let me know. And I'm
Really?
happy. And I would never do a ghostwriter. Like, I would give somebody
Well,
credit.
but some people do that.
Yeah, no, she
Famous people do that.
Yeah, I didn't feel good about that. I wrote it, and I've
Well,
only written short form. That was my first long
You're
form.
you're a pretty good writer.
Well, you're
I
a pretty
was-
good interviewer. while we're qualifying things. Any other qualifiers you want to minimize my writing?
So I read
I aimed
Jules'
for pretty
book.
good. My goal was pretty good.
Okay. So I read Jules' book, and I'll just tell that this is what I got out of it. Okay, so Jewel was born in Payson, Utah, but didn't spend a lot of time there. She was raised in Alaska in like the middle of nowhere, and her parents were kind of screwed up. Can I say that? Her parents were screwed up, like her, you know. But it was rough. You should read the book. And she had a very strange. You know, we're like the same age. You're like 6 months younger than me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And while I was reading that, I thought, oh my gosh, my life was sort of normal compared to yours. And we really didn't have a whole lot of shared experiences, you know, because like, I mean, you didn't watch like Star Trek reruns in the late 70s. Like, did you even have a TV?
Nope.
Yeah, see, weird, huh? So she was in Alaska, and her father was a musician, and she sang in bars, like, see, we're really kind of bad parenting there, but she learned how to sing, and she was in all these scudsy places, and she learned how to yodel. She's a yodeler. And then she went to Hawaii for a little while, and then had some weird experiences in Hawaii, and then she went back to Alaska, I think, and then she went to a school for like special kids in Michigan. She raised some money from singing and got some help from some people. Oh, the Motel 6 guy helped out, right?
I did.
Yeah,
I
you
moved
know
out
that guy
at 15 and had to figure out how to get tuition.
We'll keep a light on for you.
Tom Bodette.
He grew up in your village or your town,
Yep.
or yeah. Anyway, she ended up at this weird
Yorkshire.
school. She was homeless by then. Her parents were like, yeah, good luck. And so then she hitchhiked around, and she ended up in Mexico for a little while, and then she went through Arizona and then back to Alaska. And anyway, she ended up being kind of homeless in San Diego. Mm-hmm. And
It was because I wouldn't sleep with my boss, and he wouldn't give me my
that's right.
paycheck.
Horrible stories.
Yeah.
Horrible stories. Anyway, it's a great book. I think I'm gushing.
You'll
a
feel
little
better
bit.
about your life after you
Yeah.
read my book. You'll be like, I'm awesome.
Yeah.
My parents are awesome.
So she's had a really fascinating life, an incredible journey. And when she was 19, she was discovered, I guess. She was singing like a surfer cafe or something. What town in San Diego? What?
It was in Pacific Beach.
Pacific Beach. When I was little, I lived in Leucadia.
Oh, yeah.
You know Leucadia? Yeah. I lived in a place called the Tortilla Flats. It's kind of a barrio. We didn't have a lot of money. Anyway,
I was about to make some terrible jokes, but let's move on.
we have to be careful.
We do.
These are
very politically correct.
sophisticated
for this.
educators
Yes.
here, and they keep us behaving
Yeah,
properly.
they should.
I want to do a speed interview round really quick.
Okay.
And then now that I kind of set the stage for your background, then we're going to talk about your journey. Okay, you ready? This is going to go fast.
Yeah.
How old are you?
43.
What's your favorite color?
Yellow.
If you could be an animal, what would it be?
Horse.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Yeah, butternut pecan. I don't know. I don't
Really?
care. Eh.
Okay. Cat or dog person?
I have a very casual relationship with working out, so I have to have a more casual relationship with ice cream. Do you understand Anyway, go ahead. You make choices.
Cat or dog?
They're both great. Why choose?
No.
Really?
This is pretty binary.
I grew up on a ranch. We had mouser cats and we had dogs for working cattle. They both had a purpose. They're both great animals. I'm not going to pick sides.
That was very diplomatic. Pizza topping.
I just like the topping. Meat.
Meat.
Yes.
Oh! Well, okay, one more. Favorite cereal?
Exciting. Whoa.
Yeah, I'll get to it.
I don't eat
Did
cereal.
you have cereal in Alaska?
I like Red Mill's 7-grain
Oh, like
cooked,
granola, like hamster food?
Yeah. Yeah. Don't judge.
Okay,
I said I eat meat still. Come on.
when you were in Alaska, you ate some weird food, didn't you? Mm-hmm. Like you've had moose. Have you eaten moose meat?
Oh yeah. I remember we sang in Inuit villages when I was a little kid. We'd be picked up by dog sled, literally, dropped off by a bush plane. And I remember sitting down to a table of a local hosting family, and they gave me an entire barbecued moose leg. It was like, and I sat there as like a little 6-year-old going, like on this moose leg. It was pretty funny.
Did you know who Bullwinkle was?
No.
Okay, you've had squirrel soup.
I have eaten squirrel, yes. I grew up on a homestead, so my family were pioneers, and they only ate what we could kill or can. And sometimes it turned to squirrel at desperate times, yes.
What does it taste like?
You know, if you put barbecue sauce on anything, it's not bad.
You've milked cows, right?
I have.
Is that kind of gross?
Do you not like breasts?
Do I have breasts? I've got them, but they don't make milk. Mine don't.
I
make
don't
milk.
think it's gross, but I grew up on a ranch. So,
But I mean,
yeah, it wasn't like.
It's kind of personal, isn't it?
I took her to dinner. I mean, it was. We had a very nice relationship. It was.
Did you name your cows? Did you name them? Did they have names?
Yeah, they had names.
Were some of them eating cows, like where you ate them?
Yeah, we ate our cattle.
Did you name those ones?
We made them juicy, yummy, beefy. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding. No, most of them had ear tags. Our milk cow was named.
So you're like 741. How are you this morning?
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, you'd feed them, you get to know them, you take care of them. I worked a lot of Alaska doesn't have traditional male-female roles, so I was outdoors working horses and cattle a lot as a kid, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
That's cool.
That's why I'm still proud that I can make a waffle. You see where that came from.
Okay, so journeys. Tell us about mentors you've had in your journey.
So I grew up quite transient, as you can tell. My mom left when I was 8, and my dad became an alcoholic at the same time to try and handle the stress. My dad had a lot of PTSD and had a lot of trauma from his own childhood that was very abusive, and then he went to Vietnam. And when my mom left, he got very triggered, and he tried to drink to medicate the anxiety, and it didn't work out so hot for us. And that's why I moved out at 15, because my dad became abusive, and we moved around a lot, a bunch. One of the schools I went to had a philosophy program, and I was incredibly dyslexic and moved schools so often that I was never taught grammar, because I always fell between the cracks of when a curriculum started in one place and it would start up in another place, and I tended to miss entire systems. And so I'd never thought I was very bright, and I always had a hard time kind of socially adjusting. And then I had this philosophy teacher at the school who had 8th graders reading Socrates and all kinds of Greek classics. And I loved the information so much that it really forced me to teach myself to read well, because reading was quite difficult for me as a dyslexic. And then he let me teach my own class of 8th graders, and then he let me train, as a 15-year-old, I got to train other educators.
Really?
High school teachers, which was really fun.
That wasn't in your book, was it?
Maybe not, but you might have just been proofreading really quick to get the,
I skimmed a little bit. No. I'll go back and check.
So he was a mentor because he was the first person that made me feel like I could think, and that I could maybe think my way out of problems. And so as a girl who then moved out later that year as a 15-year-old, I thought, maybe if I use my mind and my acuity, I can figure out and problem solve and learn new emotional languages that I wasn't taught at home, and that I could maybe not be a statistic if I used my brain. And that was my goal.
Do you keep in touch with that teacher anymore, or is it?
He's beneath me now.
Is that
I'm kidding. I have a very dry sense of humor. I apologize for those of you that are just kidding. No, I'm giving me terrible sound bites. You can ruin my career.
You know
You're
what?
welcome.
They tweeted that. I know these people. They'll yeah.
They went by their first names. His name was Ken, and I have lost touch with him.
Yeah.
But I think of him often. Yeah, he was an amazing mentor.
You had a lot of circumstances in your life that were outside of your control, and a lot of them were bad. What role, looking back on your life, what role does personal responsibility play in your journey, given the fact that a lot of crap happens that you don't have control over?
It's a great question. I started shoplifting a lot when I was homeless. It had begun a bit earlier. I think it was just a need to have control. It started with carrots, which apparently are the gateway vegetable. Because pretty soon it led to the hard stuff like apples and organic dates. I was a very healthy homeless kid. but I was having panic attacks. I was agoraphobic, and it was really at this time that I realized I had to figure out how to turn my life around. And again, when I moved out at 15, I knew statistically kids like me end up repeating the cycle the way my dad repeated the cycle. We were each taught an emotional language. And unless we learn a new language, you're going to speak the language you were raised with. And so my job as a 15-year-old was, how do I relearn or even learn an entirely new emotional language? And so I set out to not be a statistic. And one day at 18, homeless, I looked in the mirror while I'm trying to steal a dress, and I went, I didn't achieve that goal. I'm a statistic. I'm homeless. I'm stealing. I'm going to end up in jail or dead. And it was that moment that I realized no one was coming to save me. And frankly, no one owed me. And that was a real relief. You know, it was up to me. My happiness was up to me. And I remembered a quote by Buddha that said, happiness doesn't depend on who you are or what you have. It depends on what you think. And so I decided to develop exercises for myself to help me retrain my brain literally. And now a very famous neuroscientist named Dr. Judson Brewer, who has a great book called The Craving Mind, shows why my exercises that I invented for myself over the years actually work. And it's on a website called jewelneverbroken.com. But I took that very, very seriously of, I am responsible for my happiness. Nobody can keep me abused. Nobody can keep me unhappy. Nobody can keep me homeless. And that pivotal shift from going from victim to saying, I got this is on me, was really crucial to turning my life around.
That seems, yeah. That seems so, it's on the self-actualized side of the spectrum, and most, you started thinking this way very young. Mm-hmm. And most teenagers are kind of dumb and selfish. And, I mean, is that bad to say that? Because you know it's true, right? We still love them, though. We still love them. How did you skip that dumb and selfish phase?
When you don't have any safety net or any parents, you
just have to grow up fast.
You just have to grow up fast and figure it out, or succumb to drugs. And I promised myself I would never do drugs or drink. I promised I would take on pain as it happened. I grew up in bars watching people avoid pain, and I saw it never worked. There was no single tactic I ever saw any human employ to avoid pain. And the secret is, none of us get out of life without pain, even if they had a better life than mine. All of us will face pain. So what do we do with pain, and why aren't people talking about how we convert pain into wisdom instead of pain into bitterness or pain into feeling broken? And so again, that became part of my life's mission.
You know, there was, everything you say deserves a clap. There was a great quote. I used to keep it in my wallet when I was a teenager, later in life and teenager. And I think some dead Greek guy said it. I can't remember, but it was, the way out is through.
That's very good.
And,
yeah.
and it feels like, I've heard, if you find yourself in hell, keep going.
Yeah.
Right? You just have to keep going. Tell me, a little kind of a funny question. If you decided to go get a PhD, what do you think you'd study?
Physics.
Physics?
Yeah.
Really?
I love
Do we have any physics people here? There's a couple of physics people.
I find physics fascinating. I never knew I liked it in school, but it wasn't until I graduated that I kept reading and really got into physics. And as a homeless kid or somebody at a very extreme disadvantage, learning about, particle non-locality, that a light particle can be in two places at the same time, was very magical. And it gave someone like me a lot of hope of the universe is magical. Even on a quantum level, it is listening to us. And that helped me have some faith that maybe what I'm thinking actually can control the outcome, which is very logical, really. But even as we get more and more into physics and fractal, how it all works, it's fascinating. I've really enjoyed watching it.
I think the deeper you get into physics and you go into that quantum, you pass that quantum barrier and you look in it, it becomes very magical. It almost becomes sort of mystical or spiritual, or we just can't explain. I don't think the physicists like to think that it's like that, but it kind of...
It's magical.
They don't really know what they're talking about past a certain stage. Isn't that true? I mean, you guys admit it. You don't really know what you're talking about.
But you get to create theories, which is highly creative. I think it's a job I would really enjoy. Of this is how I think it's going to work, and now I got to go figure out if we can prove that it does that way.
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating.
Newtonian physics works pretty well, though. Okay.
Gravity's good.
I think we've veered off course a little bit. We'll just take a couple more minutes here. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing now with with your work, with people, and wellness?
What I've always cared about is how do I have an authentic life? And I can't control everything that happens to me in life, but I can control what it does to me. I can control the experience that I have. And so that became what I was very obsessive about, creating these exercises for myself. The word mindfulness wasn't around at the time, but that's basically what I began doing, is how can I be a witness of myself in real time so I can learn to neurologically rewire myself? Because I realized the brain was addictive. You know, when I was about 18, I was like, if I can get addicted to negative things, and I had studied, you know, Pavlov's dog, and I forget now the animal behaviorist, Skinner? You guys, was it Skinner? You know, just about the habit loops and how easily trained and how our brains are these binary computers. I found it very fascinating. I was like, if I can get addicted to negative things, can I get myself addicted to positive things? And so I started looking at the habit loop of a stimulus, a stressor, a behavior, and then the reward, and changing the behavior from a negative one to a positive one. And I began getting incredible results and really being able to change my habits and my habit loops. And so what I was writing about, from Hands to Who Will Save Your Soul, all my music was basically about that I'm in charge of my life. I have to figure these things out, and I have to tackle these things thoughtfully. Now that I'm a mom, I don't want to tour to make a living solely, and I'm very interested in helping people have very doable, practical steps to help them understand how to rewire their own brain. I don't want people to, you know, I want to go to people and say, I have an answer. I want to help people get rid of the anxiety and the noise so they can find their own answers. Because we're incredibly resilient, but we're not actually taught how to be resilient. And the disconnect of where culture is headed is actually incredibly a tremendous obstacle to overcome. So everything I'm doing now is about creating connection. I'm creating a curriculum for public schools called Whole Child that starts to put mindfulness exercises into a core curriculum. I'm starting with English. So that we can start helping kids deal with anxiety, help them realize that they are the observer of thoughts. They're not their thoughts. We are more than a brain. We're the observer of our brain. That's a pretty trippy thing. And once you realize that, you actually are quite empowered. You're the architect of a life instead of somebody who's just a passenger of a life they inherited. And I wanted to start in public schools specifically because I think they're the ones that need the most help. So I didn't want to go start some kind of private charter school or something like that.
Is there a particular school that's going to do a trial run of the curriculum? Which one is that?
Yeah, I'm working with Ohio, Florida, and Georgia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So like whole states. Wow.
Yeah, and they're helping me build it. It'll be based on my, I don't know how to say the word, pedagogy. You guys tell me.
Yeah, guys, how do you really say that? I've been in this industry for a long time now, and I still, who wants to volunteer? I know pedagogical, but some people say pedagogy. Are they wrong?
Pedagogy.
Pedagogy?
We're going to get in a heated debate now, I know it.
You know what?
Let's
think
talk
there's
politics.
a division here. Raise your hand if it's pedagogy. You're alone, man.
Wow, you're the only one willing to stand up.
Well, that's incredible. That's
I'm
really
excited.
incredible. So do you see yourself getting deep into education over the next decade? I mean, is that kind of a new step of your journey?
Yeah, I really see the next step of my life really being about how to take what worked for me, how to transmute pain, how to become the observer of thoughts. All of these exercises that helped create resilience, that helped calm anxiety, and helped make me the architect of a life, those are skills I want to give other people. And so I'm doing a mindfulness cartoon for children that are 5-year-olds.
Like a cartoon?
Like a cartoon
Really?
cartoon that teaches children to observe their thoughts and that they're in control of their feelings and their thoughts, and to observe them using curiosity. And then I'm
Is that
creating
part of the
this.
curriculum, or is that just something you're just going to put on YouTube?
This will be something for, it'll be on television, it'll be for like toddlers, and it won't be a curriculum per se, as a cartoon that starts teaching skill sets to a very young
Can you tell us a little bit?
demographic.
Is it like trains or airplanes or what?
It'll be animals probably.
Animals?
Yeah, it'll be animals.
Talking animals?
Yeah, where they solve problems and they use their values as a toolkit.
Are
and then
all the
they-
animals going to be the same size? Or, I mean,
Yeah, no.
no? Because like if a rabbit was talking to a horse, that just, I mean, they can't even see eye to eye. You know how they do
It's
that
an
in
obstacle to
cartoons?
overcome. They might have to use a mindfulness tool to not get frustrated.
Have you ever heard of stomach brains? You know, there's some, it's interesting, I'm serious. There's research that
gut.
indicates that we think
Yeah.
with other parts of our body besides our brain.
Yeah, we take a lot of information, and we have a very amazing biological computer outside of our actual brain,
Yeah.
which is what our instinct is, our gut, our intuition,
Right.
things that are actually outside of a cerebral process.
Yeah.
And those are important things to pay attention to.
Okay, so when Jewel's on stage singing all her hit songs, just know there's a lot going up on up here. Okay, there's a lot of deep thinking, and if you find yourself just sort of dancing and enjoying yourself, don't do that. This is really serious stuff. Okay?
I'll be drunk. I don't know about. No, I'm kidding. I don't even drink. I'm totally kidding. If you guys want to learn more about my curriculum or reach out to me, my web address or my email address is jewel@jewelincorporated@gmail.com.
Is that like a C Corp in Delaware or something? Or do you know much about corporate
Tennessee,
structure?
but yeah.
What's that?
Tennessee, but yeah.
Oh, it's in Tennessee. Do you live in Tennessee now?
Kinda, yeah, I'm working on it. I'm trying to do this entrepreneurial effort so that by this time my son is in first grade, I am in one spot and not traveling like a gypsy for the first time in my life. That's been my goal.
Is that going to be weird to settle down somewhere?
I'm pretty excited.
Yeah?
We'll see me 6 months into it, but I'm pretty excited.
Okay, everyone, Jewel.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Really enjoyed it.
All right, guys, go to the concert. It's just this way. Go get some food, and you'll enjoy Jewel. Thank you, everyone. Okay, that was fun. That was fun. It was fun.
Mother's on the stoop, boys in souped up coops on this hot summer